Hey everyone, it's GD. So today I wanted to talk about objections. And so what are objections? Objections are when somebody calls you for an estimate or a bid or a quote, and you tell them your price, and they say, well, that's way too high, or that seems expensive, or my last cleaner was doing it for half the price. So how do you handle that, right? And um, so this is part of your sales strategy. It's part of your branded sales strategy for your business. And I do know that some people aren't great at sales. And I know some people have a big fear factor when it comes to telling prospective clients their pricing. So I know that's a big fear for some people. I'm going to tell you right now, I can teach anyone how to sell. I can teach them how to sell with confidence. And the way you do that is by not selling, right? So you don't sell anything to them. You just educate them, and you talk about your brand and your company and educate them about the benefits of working with your company. If you don't know the benefits of working with your company, you need to establish that. So from that perspective, so sort of from that starting point in terms of this being a sales thing, where do you go from there, right? Well, so there's a couple of ways to overcome some objections from the very start. So when you're pricing out a job, if your business charges $40 an hour, which it should, right, as a minimum, we've all talked about that, and you're giving a quote to somebody for a bid, then instead of saying it's $40 an hour, if you know it's going to be a 3-hour job, or you know it's going to be 5-hour job, whatever, say it's going to be $120, right? Or say it's going to be $200. Say it that way instead of $40 an hour. Because the way some people, and just some people, it's not everybody, will perceive that is I'm hiring a worker for $40 an hour. And they're probably not making $40 an hour themselves. So it's hard for them to process that. I'm going to have somebody to come in and do a little cleaning, and I got to pay them $40 an hour. We all know that it's much more than that, right? And they should be comfortable with paying $40 an hour cleaning their dirty toilets, right? Because if they're not willing to clean their dirty toilets, they better damn well be prepared to pay whatever it costs to have somebody come in and clean their dirty toilets, because they're not prepared to. So we all know $40 an hour is fine. But from the perspective of, if you have that fear factor inside you, it's just a lot easier if you say it's going to be $120, right? So that takes us to our next step. So if you're charging $40 an hour, which we all know you should, right? We're going to say to them it's $120 an hour, or $120 for us to do the job, or $120 every time we come visit, whatever that works out to be. So it's just a little easier for some of you to say that. And if for those of you that are comfortable with $40 an hour, then run with what works for you. I'm not suggesting you change anything that's already working for you. This is more so for people that do struggle with that have a tough time letting people know what their services cost, right? So as that relates is, you should have a minimum charge as well, right? You should have a minimum charge. So even if a job is an hour and a half, right, you can't go there for $60. Your business can't afford for you to do that. You can't build long-term success in your business to do that. You can't pay an employee to do that, right? Because when you incorporate all your costs and your cost structure, the cost to run your business, the cost to get that client, the cost for your marketing, the cost for your products, the cost for your equipment, the cost for your staff member to drive there, the cost to pay them to be there for that time, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. It's not good business. So you need to have a minimum charge, right? So when I had my cleaning companies, this was my minimum charge. And if people said no to it, I was okay with that. I was perfectly fine with that, right? I didn't act out of desperation. If they said, well, that's too much, we really only need someone here for an hour or 2 hours. Well, we all know when someone says that, it's a 5-hour, 6-hour job, right? That's the reality of how that works. But I always had a minimum charge because I was running a business. I was running a business and I knew I had costs incorporated with doing that. So even if someone's only going to be there for an hour, it's not worth my time to go get $40 off this person. I'm basically working for free. I'm running a business, I'm running a hobby and not a business at that stage, because a hobby costs you money and a business makes you money, right? So you need a minimum charge. Absolutely, you need a minimum charge. Anyone that's not comfortable with your minimum charge isn't your perfect client. It's that simple, right? And you want to build your business full of perfect clients, because then you have less customer service issues and you're profitable. Simple, right? How do you find the perfect clients? Well, that relates to our law of attraction strategy that we use, right? You want to create branding and marketing and have your business projected to the world in a way that attracts your perfect client and repels the ones that you don't want, right? So you don't have to have those conversations then, or you very rarely have them. And if you do have to have those conversations, this is how you handle it. This relates to the objections, right? So for objections, if you're going quoting on a job and you think they would be a great customer or client, and you say to them, it's going to be $120 each time we visit, and they say, wow, that seems a little too much. Like, we just need some light dusting, whatever, and that. The very first thing you don't do is you don't object. Don't object to that. You agree with them. Always agree with your client. Because as soon as you object, you're now in a fight with them, right? Like, it's a boxing match. It's no longer a business because you're taking it personal, and you always agree with them. Agree with them. That's part of sales. So stop selling, don't sell, just agree with them. Say, you're right, that does seem like a lot. And then where do you go from there, right? What's your next move with that, right? So you have many options here that have nothing to do with selling, that allows them to understand that you're the right choice as their professional cleaning choice, and it allows you to not have to sell to them, but to educate them and discover if they're your perfect client or not. Because how they respond to what you say is going to tell you, it's going to announce to you that they're either your perfect client or they're not. And if they're not, that's okay, right? Don't focus any more time there. Focus your time and attention on the ones that are your perfect client, because that's where the long-term success of your business lies. So where do you go from there? Okay, so now they've objected, right? They said, it seems like it's too much, right? So there's a lot of responses you can get there. So the ones that say it seems like it's too much, they're pretty easy to handle. The ones that say, I used to pay my old cleaner half of that, this is somebody that's probably not your perfect client, because they're not looking for a professional agency. They're not looking for a professional company. They're looking for a slave, right? And that's not what you're in business for. You're in business to make money. So this is a warning sign, right? This is a red flag. This is their way of announcing to you that you're probably not their ideal client. But you could always say to them, they said, well, I was paying my last person half that. Say, your response to that is, okay, what happened to them? Why are they not cleaning for you anymore, right? And they may say something like, well, they moved on, or they couldn't keep up with it. Well, really, what that's telling you is that person didn't want to work for that price anymore, and so they gave them some BS excuse so they can move on. That's the truth of that, right? And so when you ask them that question, say they just quit, or it wasn't working out, or whatever. Say, well, that was probably the problem you were having, is that they were being paid too low, so the relationship wasn't going to work out, right? That's the reality of that situation. Whether you want to go down that road and have that conversation with them is up to you. Just don't do it in a combative way. Just do it in a way where you're educating them. Say, well, if you were paying them that price, based upon what I know the industry standards are, that might be the reason why they did move on, or why things didn't work out for you, right? If they say, well, we were paying them half that, and they fired them because they weren't doing a great job, again, that's why things didn't work out, right? Because if you're paying someone less than they're worth, they're never going to do a great job for you. It's just not going to happen. So, that's what you can do as a response. That's the objection response. There's just educate them. Say, this could be where it broke down for you. I don't know. Say, but I know the industry standards are what they are. And the reason they're priced that way is because of the costs. It costs us to operate our business, right? And so as a result of that, our commitment is to get the job done on time, at the highest standard possible, and with no liability to you, right? Because we're insured, our staff have background checks. If there's any issues, we'll come back and fix it immediately, 100% guaranteed at our cost, not yours, right? So that's how that all relates. And again, if they say it's too much, so that's how we're going to handle this. And look, they're going to respond in a couple of ways. They're going to respond in a couple of different ways. Don't get into a battle with them. If they seem rude about your responses or rude about what you're charging, they're not your ideal client. Say, thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. I hope you have a great day. I've got another appointment to be to. Thank you. Don't waste your time there. Don't continue that conversation or argument, because you're allowing yourself to come down to a very low level instead of maintaining a professional business persona and being convincing and committed to the value of what your time is worth, what it's worth for you to show up and clean their dirty toilets because they don't want to, right? Stay committed to that. If they call 2 or 3 people up to give them a quote, and all 3 of those people stick to their guns that way, might be a good wake-up call for them to realize I shouldn't be paying people half this price. I need to pay people what they're worth, and then I don't have this problem anymore. The problem goes away, right? So for the people who say it's too much, it seems like it's too much, or it seems high, right? If they say, it seems a little high, then there's 2 ways you can handle that. There's 2 ways you can handle that. So here's the first way, and you can try either one of these if you want. You say, Mr. or Mrs. Homeowner, do you mind if I ask you a question? Be very nice about it. Be respectful. Don't talk down to them or seem condescending, or don't seem like you're getting into a battle with them. Say, do you mind if I ask you a quick question? And they're going to say yes. So now you have their permission to deliver your speech. You're not selling to them. You're educating. You say, in the process of you looking for a cleaning service, are you looking to get it done cheap, or are you looking to get it done right? Before they answer, you say, I just explained to you the difference between getting it done cheap and getting it done right. Getting it done cheap means that potentially they are an uninsured company. Their staff may not have background checks. So potentially you could have a felon walking around your house where you raise your kids, where you keep all your valuables. Your number 1 asset is your home, right? There may be prescriptions around, jewelry, who knows, right? They can't get it done right because to get it done cheap means they have to get it done fast, because they can't afford to do that any other way. And so chances are it may not get done right. If they spill some bleach on your carpet, they have no insurance. Guess who's on the hook for that? If they're mopping a floor and they slip on the wet floor, get injured, guess who's on the hook for that, right? Getting it done right is the way our company operates, which is we are insured. Our staff do have background checks. If there's any incidents in the home or anything happens, it's covered. We've got it insured. There's no issues, right? And our staff all have background checks, so the people that are working in your home come from a trusted background, and we vetted them. We've trained them. They're professionals. That's the road you go down. Don't get into an argument with them. Just educate them about what $40 an hour gets them. Gets them peace of mind, right? Gets them someone not in their house creeping around, stealing out of their medicine cabinet or snooping through their jewelry, right? That's what it gets them. Gets them if somebody spills bleach on their carpet, the carpet's going to get replaced, right? Because you have insurance. And so you just say to them, so which one of those 2 processes, or which one of those 2 opportunities sounds like what you're looking for? 95% of the time they're going to say getting it done right, because it makes sense to them now. And you've instilled fear in them, right? They've got fear in them now. They're like, do I want to save $20 to work with a company that may cause a disaster in my home? Probably not, right? They've got that fear in them. It's going to play on their mind. Trust me, it's going to stay with them. right? It's going to stay with them. And so you've educated them. And if they still say, there's always going to be the 5% that say, well, that's still too much, I'm going to go with you, then great. They've done you a favor, right? Because they've announced very loudly and very clearly to you that they're not your perfect or ideal client. So you say, thank you very much for your time, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. I do have another appointment to get to. I wish you all the best in this process. Have a great day, right? Move on. Don't waste your time with people like that. Don't let them bait you into an argument or a fight. Don't let them make you feel uncomfortable about charging $40 an hour because you're worth every single penny. And if they're not willing to pay it, they're not your ideal client, right? So what's the second way you could handle that objection? So again, the second way is if they said, it seems like it's too much or it seems too high, you say, you agree with them. Agree with them. Don't argue with them. So this is the second opportunity. You agree with them. You say, you're right. It does seem like a lot of money. Don't say it seems like too much, and don't say it seems like it's too high. You say, you're right. It seems like a lot of money, but let me explain to you what you get for that. And then explain it to them. 100% satisfaction, 100% guaranteed, right? If there's any issues, you'll come fix it immediately at your expense, not their expense, right? And say, well, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Say, I do agree with you. It does seem like a lot of money. Why don't we do this? For the first 3 cleans, we'll do it for $100 for you, right? We'll do it for $100. And if you're satisfied after those 3 cleans, then we'll go back to our original price of $120, but it gives you a chance to see if we're worth it at a lower price point, and you get 100% guarantee, satisfaction guarantee, right? Or you could say something like, well, hey, I'll tell you what, it does seem like a lot of money, but let's do this. I'm going to give you a bunch of my business cards. Feel free to hand them out to any of your friends, any of your family, anyone that lives on the street. Write your name on the back, and if any of them call us and book a service with us, I'll do a house cleaning for you completely for free. 3 hours on us, right? That's how you handle objections. That's how you handle objections. Don't get into a fight with them. Don't let them bait you into an argument or make you feel uncomfortable about what you charge. Just educate them and agree with them, right? That's part of customer service. It's part of sales. Agree with them. Say, you're right, that does seem like a lot of money. But if I gave you a bunch of my business cards to hand out, and if any of those people booked a service from us, I'll do a cleaning for you for free for 3 hours. Or if I only charged you $100 for the first 3 cleans, and if you're satisfied at the end of those 3 cleans and see the value in what we charge, and we'll move back up to the regular price. Are you okay for us to handle that for you? Right? That's the way you handle that. That's the way you manage that. Don't get into an argument with them. Agree with them. Be empathetic with them, right? Educate them. Help them understand why you charge what you charge, right? You're not just working on your own and coming in and grabbing $40 and leaving, right? There's a breakdown of cost there that they need to understand. But again, the way you handle it, the way you verbalize it to them, the way you message it to them matters. Because what's going to happen is if you get into a battle with them over this, or you walk away feeling yucky about, or unconfident about charging you $40 an hour, the next time you go quote a job, you're going to be quoting $30 an hour, and then you don't have a business anymore. You're in the race to the bottom, right? Run it like a business owner, but be empathetic and be understanding and educate people. That's how you handle objections. And how they respond is really valuable information for you, because their response dictates whether they're your perfect client or not, right? If they respond poorly, that's great information, because you say, that's great. Thank God I didn't take them on as a client, because they would have been a massive headache for you, right? But if they respond favorably, then that's great, because you're getting your $120 for your job, and you're running a business, and you're profitable, and you're confident. Your confidence is there. So that's how you handle objections. That's how you handle sales objections. is to do it in a manner that's not combative. Don't get into a fight with them, and don't allow them to make you feel bad for charging $40 an hour. Right? If anybody needs any advice or help or tips, or you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available, as mentioned, for a call, jump on a screen share, whatever you need. Hopefully someone found this helpful and you can take some strength from it and use it to, use confidence to go out and sell your services for the price that they're worth. Remember, have set pricing. Don't let people negotiate with you. You wouldn't walk into Walmart and negotiate the price of something you're buying in there. People shouldn't think it's okay to negotiate the prices of you charging $40 an hour to clean their dirty toilets that they don't want to clean, right? Everyone have an amazing day. I hope you have a great week. I hope everybody's achieving the success that they're looking for. If anybody's interested or wants to have a strategy call, anything like that, certainly feel free to connect to me, and happy to jump on with you. Have an amazing day, everyone.